everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I'm here to share with you guys a CAS or clean and simple card that I made using that adorable Honeybee Stamps Blah Hum Bunny stamp set. I am absolutely in love with the expressions of these cute little stamps, and this is a card that I made for a family member who's not going to be able to join us this year for our holiday beach vacation. So to get started, I'm just showing you guys the sentiments and the stamps that I'm using. And I've cut out a piece of cardstock that's larger than a normal A2 size card because I know I'm going to be cutting around it. And the key is I wanted the sentiment to be about 2/3 of the way up and the bunny to be kind of popping into the scene, and I know I'm going to be cutting around that. So I also decided to have hanging off of the sentiment little ornaments. There's a cute little round ornament in the stamp set, and I thought I could just stamp it out and then draw in lines so that it looks like the ornaments are hanging off of the sentiment. I'm having to wipe off the little ornament stamp so that I don't get double impressions as I move it, and the ink might still be a little bit on the stamp even if I'm wiping it with a stamp chamois. So I'm placing 3 little ornaments here because I like to keep things in odd numbers, and I'm going to have them, like I said, just hanging off of the sentiment. I'm using a Copic multi-liner pen. This is a 0.1 point to kind of match the thickness of the images and the sentiment as best I can. And I didn't know how much coloring I'd be doing on this, so that's why I'm using a Copic pen, a multi-liner pen, because I know that's Copic friendly. I also stamped out the little elf hat from the stamp set, and I'm just doing a simple Copic coloring. You see all the colors that I've used off to the side there, and I'm just trying to make sure that each different colored segment has a kind of full range of color. Even though the image is really small, I find that adding that, extra attention for the shadowed areas really helps make the images come to life and look more three-dimensional. So here I'm using the darkest, the R29 here at the base where the base or brim of the little elf hat meets the red, and I realized that it wasn't quite dark enough, so I actually used the G14 and then went over top again with the red color. And that really deepened up that red. Using complementary colors like that can help you really add some extra depth, especially when your markers don't quite stretch that far. For the 3 ornaments, I first started deciding that I was going to make them red and green, and then I thought I would add a little bit of gold because I know I want to make that little bunny honey colored. So I thought that would be a nice kind of repeat of that warm golden color. So I add a couple of areas of that Y19 as well in the ornaments. I also decided I'm going to add some highlight areas with a Uniball Signo white gel pen. It's my favorite gel pen, and I love adding little highlight details like I'm doing right here on the little cap and on the ornaments. I also decided I wanted some extra shimmer, so I'm using a clear Wink of Stella brush pen, and that adds a really beautiful little shimmer. I'm also adding it to the little elf cap. Even though that is fully dry, I noticed that it did kind of dull the white gel pen, so I went over that off camera again. And what I'm showing you here is how I am making this designed really clean and simple, or really simple card a little bit more interesting by cutting around that little bunny image. I want the bunny to look like it is kind of hanging off into, kind of poking its head into the little scene here, and I'm cutting more and more away from this card front panel because I know I'm going to be matting it onto a bright shimmery red cardstock card base. So I'm just cutting around the little curved areas with my favorite fussy cutting scissors. These are Fiskars scissors, and I'm making the straight edges cuts with my Fiskars paper trimmer. Now I'm going to do the last little bit of simple Copic coloring. Like I said, I wanted the bunny to be nice and warm, very pale brown. So I'm using E50 and E53. The 53 is for the shaded areas, the lower parts of the ears, under the chin, the lower part of the face, the bottom parts of the arms, where the arm kind of tucks behind, or the hand tucks behind the little arm that's propping his head up. And I'm now adding blush. And I realize I need a new nib, so I'm trying to soften the R20 with an R30, which I forgot to put onto my work surface for you to look at the cap. But the lighter color is an R30. There we go. And I'm just trying to blend that out a little bit so that I get a softer look, just because the nib is a little bit cakey and wasn't giving a smooth, clean finish. I like to share all of this information with you guys because, I don't want anybody to think that, my Copic coloring always comes out easily or whatever. Maintenance goes into it, and little hiccups like this are opportunities, I think, to kind of stretch my normal use of Copic colors. For the nose, I'm adding a W7 just to warm it up and darken up the eyes too. Now I am just going around the edges of the image where it goes off of the card front edge with a tuxedo black marker. And now I'm going to put on that little elf hat onto this little bunny because, of course, this is for a Christmas card for that special family member who's not going to make it to our vacation. And this is it. I'm just putting it on a shimmery red cardstock card base, and that's my completed card. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty weekend.